This is Total Drama 2023 Season 2 summarized badly. Episode 2, wahoo! We start off this episode with an uncomfortably long look at Caleb's assets. I know it's a lot. The hair, the bod! Bree is taking the same uncomfortably long look, and Caleb tries to butter her in a little bit. Remember that line? It will be funny later. Ripper tells Bowie he has a crush on Axel, but doesn't really know how to deal with it. Bowie suggests he should go talk to her, but it ends up with Ripper getting a face full of porridge. The challenge has players diving through 3 different slides, each scaling in the amount of points and in the amount of pain that they cause. There's also a 4th slide which was technically deemed unsafe, but hey, when has that ever stopped, Chris? Emma tells Chase to film the event for his channel in order to mess with his head. Chase falls for it and is now off to film the best shot. Yo, it's your boy Chase! We see how everyone tries to tackle this challenge. Millie goes for the easy approach, while Michelle aims for the 3-pointers. Damien is too scared to go normally, so he blindfolds himself and lets Millie guide him. I'm sure he won't come to regret that in the future. After a couple of rounds, teams figure out that they don't need to wait for the other team to take turns, but they can just run. And it doesn't take long for Team Ratface to completely dominate in this challenge. Not to be rude or anything. But the skunk butts. Desperately needing to score more points, Wayne and Rush both jump into the 3-point slide at the same time, but they end up getting stuck on the exit. Bowie jumps in to unclog them. He ends up getting stuck too. Julia jumps in to unclog them. He ends up getting stuck too. Luckily, there's Chase to rescue them. Just kidding, he's still out vlogging. Yo, it's your boy Chase! In the meantime, however, Ripper's been on his own little side story that ends in him getting chased by a bear because he's covered in butter. See, I told you that line would become funny. Trying to avoid the bear, Ripper too jumps into the 3-point slide, with the bear soon following after him, which ends up clearing the clog entirely, scoring massive points for the skunk butts. On the Ratface's side, we're screwed. Damien and Millie need to score the final 4 points for their team. Instead of just splitting the pain equally, Millie decides to pull a certified Millie move by guiding the still blindfolded Damien to that forbidden 4-pointer slide. He gets absolutely pummeled, but does end up scoring the final points that the Rats need to win. Millie is really happy, but her teammates all are incredibly disappointed with her. Or well, those that are still able to breathe. Anyways, the skunk butts hit elimination for the 2nd time, and Chase is voted off for basically doing nothing the entire episode. Enough recap, let's recap some more. Alright, tier list time. We have our tier list from the last time here. I moved Scary Girl into the not in this episode tier, unfortunately. So let's re-rank the 15 contestants that are still in the race based on how they did in this episode alone, not all other episodes. This episode was largely driven by a couple of character storylines, and so a couple of storylines were a little more unremarkable. So let's start with the characters that I feel fit that theme. Emma wasn't all that special this episode. Raj wasn't all that special this episode. Wayne and Raj are kind of always fun. So let's put both of them right there. Even though they did not do a whole lot for this episode in particular, I still really like the time that they are on screen. Z wasn't all that remarkable either in this episode. I feel like his time will come. I hope. Please give me more Z. Axel wasn't all that special in this episode either. It did start the arc of Ripper and Axel together, but that was more so centered on Ripper. And Axel is more so the receiver of that so far. So not a whole lot from Axel just yet. And finally, let's put Bowie in unremarkable as well. He was just kind of there. He was a big part of the episode, but that's just because he's a big character. I have no particular opinions of Bowie this episode. He wasn't really fun, but he wasn't bad for sure. He was just there, waiting for his time to shine once more. So I think these are the characters that we are going to rank based on what they are actually doing in this episode. And I think I need to add 1 or 2 more tiers. And I like this idea that we just keep on expanding this list until we need to. First new tier that we are adding is good, but... And I feel like everybody knows which character is going in this tier. It's Chase. Chase was a good character in this episode. He was fun. You could use the words fun and good interchangeably here. I don't really mind. Chase was a fun character throughout this episode. I think it's very Chase to make him chase after that. That was no pun. To make him chase after the perfect shot for his video, even though it is all being recorded. Very silly, very Chase. His elimination left so much more to desire from Chase. I think it was not his time to go. Giving Chase a lesser story in this season because we need to focus on other characters is fine. It's a-okay. I don't mind it one bit. But to me, Chase and Emma are not done yet. And I don't know if Chase is coming back, but it kind of feels like he has to at this point. Because there is still more to Chase and Emma. Emma doesn't even react to Chase going away. She just messes with his head, is happy that it succeeded, and then Chase is just booted off because he didn't do anything. That is not a way to end up this storyline. Oh man, I am really pissed about that. I am honestly really pissed about that. Oh, wait a minute. I accidentally removed my bat tier. Oops. Can you guess why I need that bat tier back? Millie is such a terrible person. I do not like Millie. I had issues with Millie in the first season, but there I could fully understand what she was doing. Here, well, that's actually not true. I can kind of see where she's coming from as well. But Millie is such a terrible person. Holy crap, do I wish Millie goes home next. That was such a nasty scene. Such a nasty, pitiful scene. Oh, I did not like that one bit. Poor Damien. Damien himself was pretty fun, though. I'm gonna put him in the fun tier. He did not do a lot of special. You could move him to unremarkable, but I just kind of like Damien squealing. And he did squeal a lot in this episode. Not really for the good reasons, but he did. Ripper, going to amazing. Ripper's storyline of crushing on Axel and then buttering himself up is just really funny. I don't know where that came from, but I want more. This is something I didn't know I needed. MK and Julia surprisingly crushing it again. I like MK being less snarky and being more laid back this season, and I like her interaction with Julia, and I think Julia's on a hot roll too. She's been a really fun contestant to watch so far, and I like this new change to the character. I genuinely feel for Julia and how she has to adapt to her new surroundings. And I think she's doing a good job, and I like the two characters a lot. That's a 2 for 2 on MK, by the way, who was one of my least favorite characters from last season. So, hey, good job, MK. Beating out Millie, that's for sure. Nichelle going in the fun tier. I'm liking the new Nichelle development, but not much more. I don't think it's as special as it maybe could have been, but I feel like it might still come. I hope. Maybe there's gonna be a lot more personality to her than just being a fanatic contestant. Priya herself was pretty decent this episode. She's fun. I like seeing more of Priya. Also, Priya crushing on Caleb is pretty funny. Speaking of Caleb, where are we putting him? I might need a new tier, but I want to limit myself to not doing too many new tiers all at once. Screw it. We're doing it anyway. Caleb, the final character, going into the tier. I don't really know what they're going for with Caleb. I feel like Caleb is on this track of becoming a very generic villain. And I hope he doesn't. But so far it's looking like it. He hasn't done really anything that makes Caleb Caleb, you know? It's Justin. It's all over again, it's Justin. And for Justin, I really respected it, but now it's seeing the same joke again. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. Anyway, I think that is going to wrap up my tier list for now. We'll come back next episode where we are going to add upon this tier list, add even more tiers probably until at the end of episode 13. This tier is like 25 tiers long. So if you want to stick around for that, please consider subscribing down below. Also, hitting the like button really helps. And please come support me if you want to, because now we have an editor to feed. Feed her! Please do it! And feed me too! Feed us! Anyway, for now, I thank you for watching. This has been Silly Billy, and remember, Millie is a terrible human being. Out!